Assalamu alaikum students. So our today's topic is 45 45 90 special right triangle and 30 60 90 special right triangles. 45 45 90 special right triangle means in a right triangle one of the angle is 90 degrees and the other two angles are 45 45. This is also called an isosceles right triangle because it has two angles, the base angles are same. So if these two base angles are same, the sides opposite to these angles would also be same. So the side opposite to this angle and the side opposite to this angle will be same. This is the hypotenuse in the right triangle and these two are called the legs. The legs of a 45 45 90 triangles are always congruent, it says right here. So for instance, if they are same, we would say if this is x this will be also x. So each leg would be equal to x, and to get the hypotenuse we can use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So when I get x squared plus x squared equals to c squared, to find the length of the hypotenuse, so find this, I know it's 2x squared equals c squared, and when I take the square root, so this becomes c equals I'm gonna square root of x with square root of x square root 2. So this side will be equal to x square root 2. Now for any standard 45 45 90 degree right triangle, always remember the two legs are equal to x, the ratios, and the hypotenuse is x square root 2. So if they give you for any other, for instance in this triangle, it's a 45 90, we know this is 90, we know this is 45, so we know actually this is also going to be 45 degrees, right? And we know the sides opposite to 45 degrees sides would be same. So in this case, if this is 8, this is also going to be 8. To find y, the hypotenuse, we know that the hypotenuse is x times square root 2. And what is x? The leg. So here my leg is 8. So my hypotenuse will be 8 times square root 2. You can use the longer way of using this 8 squared plus 8 squared equals y squared, and then you can find the value. But we are learning how to implement these sides ratios, okay? Other question, it says it's again 45 degrees triangle, 45 90, and this will also be 45 degrees. So the side opposite to 45 to this 25, and the side opposite to this 45 degree will also be 25. So in this case my y is 25. Now to get x, we know the hypotenuse is always x means the leg times the square root 2. My leg is equals to 25, so the hypotenuse will be equals to the leg times square root 2. Leg times square root 2 means 25 times square root 2. Okay, this is leg times square root 2. Okay, don't get confused with x and y's, because in this case, in this example, our leg was equal to x. Similar question, these are the legs, so x and y would be, and now here we know the hypotenuse. We are not going to use the Pythagorean theorem here. We know that in 45 45 90 degrees we are going to use these side ratios. We know that this is equal to 19, the hypotenuse, because it's opposite to the 90 degrees. 19 is equal to x square root 2, right? So I'm going to do x is equal to this hypotenuse is equal to x square root of 2. So here I would have my 19 is equals 2, because 19 is my hypotenuse, is equals to x square root 2, and my x would be divide both sides by square root 2. I get x equals 19 square root 19 over square root 2. Now we cannot have square root 2 in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply by square root 2 and I'm going to divide by square root 2 to rationalize it. I get 19 square root 2 over 2. So my each side would be, because this is actually the leg now, so each side would be 19 square root 2 over 2. They are same. 19 square root 2 over 2. Why I multiplied by square root 2 and divide by? Because we cannot have an irrational number as a fraction in the fraction denominator. So I multiplied with the square root 2, I divide with the square root 2. Square root 2 times square root 2 is 2. 19 times square root 2 is. Don't get confused with this x. This is the leg. Hypotenuse is equals to the leg times square root 2. So for instance, if leg is x, it's x times square root 2. 19 equals this, and divided both sides by square root 2 so that I can find x. Once I get this x, we know that these two sides are congruent. Now the other special right triangle, it is 30, 60, 90 degrees. 30, 60, 90, one of the angle is 30, the other angle is 60, then the other angle is 90 degrees. Note that the shorter angle, this is the smallest angle, so the side opposite to the smallest angle will be the smallest side, and the side opposite to this would be, because this is 30, 60, 90, this is 90, the biggest angle, so the hypotenuse will be the longest side. The mid-side angle would, mid-side would be opposite to 60 degrees. This is the smallest side, this is the longest side, and this is the mid-side because of 60 degrees. So for in 36, now these cases you have to memorize these cases, like 45, the sides are x square root 2. We don't have to actually apply Pythagorean theorem here. In 30, 60, 90, this is the side opposite to 30 degrees will always be x. The side opposite to 60 degrees will always be x square root 3. And the side opposite to 90 will be always equal to 2x. So the shorter leg is, now when we are comparing the two legs, this is the hypotenuse we know, this is the smaller leg, and this is the shorter leg, and this is the longer leg. The shorter leg is x, longer leg is x square root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2x. So first of all, we have to find the value of each variable. First, we will identify this is 60 degrees, so this would be 30 degrees. Now, using this 30, 60 special right triangle, I'm going to find the values of x and y. I'm not going to use Pythagorean theorem here. I know the side opposite to 30 is x, I can see here. So if x is 5, I can find out the side opposite to the 60 degrees and the side opposite to 90 degrees also. Okay, using my x value, because this is x times square root 3 and this is 2 times x. So to find, now here, if this is 5, the side opposite to 60 is the shorter leg times square root 3. Okay, so this would be 5 times square root 3. And this, the hypotenuse, is 2 times the shorter leg. Okay, shorter leg is x, longer leg is x times square root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2 times x. So my hypotenuse is, how do you find the hypotenuse? You use the shorter leg and you times it by 2. So my hypotenuse would be 10. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, now in this case, this is 30, so this would be 60 degrees. So the side opposite to the 30 degrees would be the shorter leg. So to find the side opposite to 60 degrees is, which is the longer leg, is x times square root 3. X is the shorter leg. So I'm going to do shorter leg times square root 3 to find this y, which is 14 times square root 3. And to find the hypotenuse, because it is opposite the 90 degrees, I know to find the hypotenuse I have to do 2 times the shorter leg. X is shorter leg here. So shorter leg is 14. 2 times 14 is 28. The next, now here they did not tell us the side of, they said they did not give us the shorter leg, they gave us the hypotenuse. We know hypotenuse is 2 times the shorter leg. So if this is hypotenuse is 32, this is 2 times the shorter leg. I can find the shorter leg, which is opposite to 30 degrees, is half of this, right? So I know that my shorter leg would be half of 32, which is 16. And once you know, the key point is to figure out what the shorter leg is and then find out the longer leg, the side opposite to 60 degrees. If this is 30, then this would be 60 degrees. So once I know my shorter leg, which is 16, I can find out my longer leg, which is shorter leg times square root 3. Okay. Next question 7 here. First figure out the shorter leg. I know this is 60 degrees, so this would be 30 degrees. This is my shorter leg. Why? First find out the shorter leg. And how to find out the shorter leg? For shorter leg, they gave you the hypotenuse. We know the hypotenuse is 2 times the shorter leg. So if they gave you the hypotenuse, this means shorter leg is half of hypotenuse, right? So it would be, this is half of 46. To find the 23. Now once we know the shorter leg, we can find out the side opposite to 60 degrees, which is the longer leg, is x times square root 3. So 23 shorter leg times square root 3. Okay, in this question they gave us the side. They did not give us the shorter leg. This is 30 degrees. They did not give us the shorter leg. They did not give us the hypotenuse, which was easier for us to find the shorter leg, because the relation between the shorter leg and the hypotenuse is twice the shorter leg. Here they gave us the longer leg. And then the relation between the longer leg and the shorter leg is, longer leg is shorter leg times square root 3. So I know that this is shorter leg times square root 3. So I can put it as, I'm going to divide this by my shorter leg is equals to, my longer leg is equals to x times square root 3. So this is shorter leg times square root 3. So I'm going to do 20 divided by square root 3, which is, and I have an irrational number here, so I'm going to multiply by square root 3 and I'm going to divide by square root 3. I get 20 square root 3 over 3. So my shorter leg is, which is this one, 20 square root 3 over 3. Once I know my shorter leg, I can find out my hypotenuse. My hypotenuse is 2 times the shorter leg, which will be 2 times this is 40 square root 3 over 3. So keeping in mind, once they give you the longer leg and you have to find the shorter leg, you divide by square root 3. From here to here, you divide by square root 3. Okay. And once they give you the hypotenuse and you want to go back to shorter leg, you divide by 2. But if they give you x shorter leg to find out hypotenuse, you just multiply. But if you do the other way around, from longer leg go to shorter leg, you divide by square root 3, and from hypotenuse to shorter leg, you divide by 2. This is the key point you need to know. So here, first of all, we have to figure it out what they gave us. This is 30 degrees, so this would be 60 degrees. So they gave you again the longer leg. I have to go to the shorter leg first. So from the longer leg to shorter leg, I go by dividing by square root 3. So I'm going to do 9 square root 3 divided by square root 3. I get 9. So my shorter leg would be 9. Once I get my shorter leg, I know how to go to the hypotenuse. It's times by 2. So it would be 18. I hope you understand this concept. There are more practice questions. Again, 45, 45, 90, the two sides are equal, and the hypotenuse is the x times square root 2, which is one of the side times square root 2. But when it comes to 30, 60, 90, you have to remember this key. If they give you shorter leg to go to longer leg, you multiply by square root 3. If they give you shorter leg to go to hypotenuse, you multiply by 2. But once if they give you these, one of these two, you go back straight to find shorter leg first. Dividing from longer to shorter, you divide by square root 3. If they give you hypotenuse, you divide by 2. Go back to shorter leg and then find the third missing side. Okay, I hope you understand the concept. Assalamu alaikum.